Hey everybody! I'm Miss Hannah from the Highland Park Public Library, and welcome to Library in Your Living Room. Today I'll be presenting DIY Sidewalk Chalk. So I've been going on a lot of walks in my neighborhood, and one of my favorite things to do when I'm on those walks is to see all of these really cool sidewalk chalk drawings on the sidewalks. I've seen like rainbows and animals and really nice messages. So I thought it would be really cool to show everybody how to make their own sidewalk chalk from stuff in their kitchen. And what's really cool about this recipe is that you can experiment with different colors. You could do different shapes for your chalk, different sizes. So you're not limited to what you can buy at the store. You can just do whatever you want at home. And as always, be sure to get a grown-up's permission before you start this project. Or better yet, you can ask them to join you. All right, so here's the stuff you're going to need. You're going to need, this is a bag of cornstarch. You'll also need water. And if you want your chalk to be different colors, you're going to need some food coloring. If you don't have food coloring, that's totally fine. You can make white chalk. Okay, and then you're also going to need some other stuff to help you mix everything together. So a bowl, a mixing spoon, a tablespoon to measure out your ingredients, and then you'll also need a mold, so something to pour the mix in, and then some wax paper or parchment paper. The mold can basically be whatever you want depending on what shape you want your chalk to be in. I'm going to use an ice cube tray. But other stuff that you could use a muffin tin. This used to have cinnamon in it, but now it's empty, so we can use it to make chalk. And this used to be a box of pudding, but you can use this for a mold too. One word of caution though, if you're going to use a cardboard container like this, be sure to line the outside and the bottom with duct tape. Otherwise, your chalk mixture will leak out and it'll be a really huge mess, and you don't want that. So if it's a cardboard container you're using for a mold, use duct tape. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to line the mold with either parchment paper or wax paper. Now, this step is really important because that's how you're going to get the chalk out of the mold. The first time I made this, I didn't use any paper to line my mold, and this is what happened to my chalk. It got stuck inside the mold, and I couldn't get it out, and it got all crumbly. So make sure you line your mold with either parchment paper or wax paper. All right, next we're going to measure our ingredients. And I'm going to angle this so you can see it better. There's my bowl. All right, so here is my cornstarch. And I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. All right, so this is more than we need. So we're going to want a level tablespoon of cornstarch, which means I'm going to take my finger and just knock off all that extra cornstarch that's heaped on the top of the spoon. So I'm going to level it off inside the bag. There we go, that's better. That's a level tablespoon of cornstarch. So we'll dump that in. And next we're going to do 1 tablespoon of water. So in math, we call this a 1-to-1 ratio. For every 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of water. And you can use that 1-to-1 ratio as a guide when you make your own chalk. So if you want to make more, like let's say you have 5 tablespoons of cornstarch, just use 5 tablespoons of water. And just make sure that ratio stays equal. All right, so there's the water. And then the last thing I'm going to add is my food coloring. So today I think I'll do purple sidewalk chalk. Purple's my favorite color. So we'll do 3 drops of blue and 3 drops of red. to make purple. And food dye can stain your skin and can stain your clothes, so be very careful when you're measuring out your drops because it can stain. All right, now we're going to stir it all together. And the thing about cornstarch is that it gets really, really lumpy. So you're going to want to make sure that you stir it really well and get rid of all those cornstarch lumps. So if your mixture is lumpy, it's not really going to turn into chalk. It's just going to be a lumpy mess. All right, so once you can't feel any lumps anymore with your spoon and it feels nice and smooth, and your colors are all nice and mixed too, it's time to pour this mixture into your mold. All right, so I'm going to grab my ice cube tray again. It's my little piece of parchment paper. I'm going to stuff that down so it stays put. I'm actually going to hold the parchment paper down with one hand and then pour in the mold with my other hand. There we go. And for my ice cube tray, 1 tablespoon each of cornstarch and water pretty much fills up the little tray. So there's what it looks like. And so now we wait. So depending on the size of your mold, it can take a certain amount of time for your sidewalk chalk to dry out. The ice cube tray that I used, it took about 2 days for the chalk to dry. In my pudding mix container, it took about 12 hours, so overnight. By the next day it was dry. But it depends on the size of your mold and how much sidewalk chalk you're making. If you really can't wait to use the chalk and you want to use it today, you actually can. What you can do is dip a paintbrush inside of the mixture. So I don't have a paintbrush, but we'll pretend. So dip, dip, dip. And then you can actually use it as chalk paint on the sidewalk or on construction paper, whatever you have. If the mixture is too thick for you to stick a paintbrush in, just add some water and it'll be thin enough for you to paint with a brush. Otherwise, if you want to wait for the chalk to dry, overnight or 2 days, here's what it can look like when it's finished. So this is my orange sidewalk chalk that I made in the ice cube tray. And then my pudding mix chalk looks like this. So yeah, different shapes, different colors, different sizes. And so when it's finally dry, you can take it outside. You can draw on sidewalks, on a driveway. If you don't want to use it outside, you can also use it on dark colored construction paper or cardboard. Just like regular chalk. I do want to offer one word of caution though. This homemade chalk is more crumbly than the chalk that you buy at the store. So you'll want to be really gentle when you use it, because if you squeeze too hard, it'll crumble pretty fast. All right, so that is quick little tutorial on how to make your very own sidewalk chalk. Now you'll be able to make, any color in the rainbow, any size, any shape you want. And the next time I'm out on a walk, I will definitely keep an eye out for some of your sidewalk chalk drawings. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out our website, hplibrary.org, for upcoming library in your living room programs. Until next time, stay safe and wash your hands.